Hello and welcome to my comic book reviews. Today I will be reviewing the books that were released on the 10th of October 2012. And we start things off with a new book called AVX Consequences, Issue 1, written by Karen Gillan, art by Tom Rainey. As the title would suggest, this gives us some of the fallout from the Avengers vs. X-Men miniseries. Though, I was contemplating, can you call it a miniseries? It was 12 issues. There have been ongoing titles that have lasted less than that, like you look at OMAC, that lasted 8 issues. So can you call it AVX a miniseries then? Anywho, it's the fallout from AVX. And so this issue kicks off with Wolverine going to taking the students from his school to Wakanda, where they're planning to help out. Storm shows up, warns him not to go to Wakanda, that Wakanda is, despite being decimated by Namor, they are now at war with Atlantis, and because they felt Namor flew under a mutant flag, mutants are no longer welcome in Wakanda, and Storm herself is now in Wakanda, is a wanted criminal. We then see Cyclops and he's in prison, but it's not like a big S.H.A.D.E prison, it's a regular prison, and he's got this new collar, and it's new technology that they've developed, where if you go to use your powers, when that brain chemical is activated that you use to activate your powers, the collar activates and makes you have a seizure, so you can't use your powers. So because there's this guy who runs the prison, and I gather he runs the prison. He does seem to be somebody in authority, though we don't really get to know who he is. But he is like that. Now mutants are back, that obviously there'll be crime because mutants are criminals, and we need a way where we can put them in prison. And we haven't got the resources to build loads of superhero prisons for superpowered people, so what we're going to do is going to stop you using your superpowers, so we can just put you in regular prison. The place definitely looks shady. We then have Captain America and Scarlet Witch talking with Hope over what she wants to do next with her life. During the conversation, she sort of throws in there that she's had this letter from Cable, that he's awake now, and that he's told her not to go looking for him. And they discuss, well, what does Hope want to do next? Does she want to be an Avenger? Does she want to be an X-Man? Does she want to go to school? What does she want to do? We get a brief scene between Iron Man and Captain Marvel as they're searching for Magneto, and then finally the issue sort of rounds off with Captain America and Wolverine Captain America wants Wolverine to go with him to visit Cyclops, but Wolverine will not. Wolverine has his own point of view, and they have a discussion, which leads us to our shock ending. It didn't really grab you. There wasn't nothing earth-shattering in this, but it was a nice start to the story. There were things in there like Cyclops. I'm really pleased that they've not said, oh, he didn't really do it, it was the Phoenix Force. I'm really pleased that they say no, he knew what he was doing and still maintains he was right. It was nice to see that there were obvious consequences in there, like what's happened to Cyclops, what's happened to Hope. But also it was nice to see something like that, like Wakanda. Now, I think that happened around issue 7 or 8, I think, where they destroyed Wakanda. But I totally forgot about that as a consequence. So I'm hoping in future issues we might see a bit more of that, and the consequences of this on places like Wakanda and Atlantis. I think that would be interesting. It would also be interesting to see Utopia. Is anyone living there now? It'd also be nice to see Emma Frost pop up in a future issue. But for the first show, they concentrated on some interesting people, and it was good. But nothing, like I say, earth-shattering. The art, though, was a totally mixed bag. Some of the panels looked good, but whenever Tom Rainey had to draw someone with a helmet on or a mask, it just seemed to all fall apart, and he just didn't know how to draw that. But some of the art was good, but a lot of it I was disappointed, and I'm hoping he improves on the next issue. This is a 5-part limited series, and it will be coming out every week for the next 5 weeks. Like I said, let's give you some examples. First, a bit of good art. This is one of the opening scenes in the book, and I really love that. We then jump to the prison. I'm trying to see if we've got a double page spread. Yeah, there we go. Double page spread of the Vision. You see how Cyclops now, he's got this helmet on. Looks a bit odd. We now have Captain America there with Scarlet Witch and Hope. Again, looks a bit odd. Finally, Captain America with Wolverine. Captain America looks a bit odd. However, I really loved his Wolverine in this picture here, where he's talking about what his head tells him he should do and what his heart wants to do, which I think is a really brilliant touch when he's talking about his heart and then his claws come out, so you really get the message what he wants to do. I thought that was one of the best panels of the issue. So there was some good art in here, but it's just anytime you had to draw someone with a helmet, it just seemed to all fall apart. But yeah, a decent first issue. I'd give it a thumbs up. I did enjoy it. I did go through it really quick, and I look forward to seeing where they go with the second issue. Next up is my pick of the week, and one of the books I was really anticipating, and it is of course Uncanny Avengers issue 1, written by Rick Remender, art by John Cassaday. This is the first book of the Marvel's new line of books called Marvel Now. Basically is their answer to DC Comics New 52. This book kicks off with somebody having their head cut open. We then jump to Professor Xavier's funeral, where Wolverine's giving a eulogy, basically saying how we let Professor Xavier down, that he never got to see his dream realised. We then Havoc goes to visit his brother in prison. Afterwards he has coffee with Captain America and Thor, and Cap saying while he didn't agree with all of Cyclops' views, he did feel that the Avengers could have done more for mutants, so he wants to put a new team together and wants Havoc to lead that team. Havoc is a bit negative on being leader, but then Avalanche shows up and starts causing havoc, and so that causes Havoc, Captain America and Thor to go and save the day, and it turns out that it was Avalanche who was the guy at the beginning of the book who had his head cut open. Scarlet Witch goes to put some flowers on Professor Xavier's grave. Rogue turns up, not happy to see Scarlet Witch there, blaming her for all what's happened, that she started it all with the whole no more mutants. Rogue's gonna go and absorb Wanda's power, but Rogue's power is not working, and then suddenly all hell breaks loose and we have some new bad guys, and a reveal at the end of the issue that made my jaw drop. A fantastic first issue. The character I knew the least coming into this was Havoc, but he going away, he was the character that most impressed me this issue and most intrigued me, and I'm really pleased that they're going to make him the leader. I think that's going to be a really good thing. That's going to be really interesting. I think Rick Remender is just the best writer of team books in comics today. Some writers, they have a team book and they might focus on one or two characters, but whenever Remender does a team book, he involves everybody. Cassaday on art was just fantastic. The emotion he draws is brilliant. The surprise of the villain at the end was slightly spoiled if you've seen the poster, the cover for the second issue. That's been spoiled, but even so, what that character's up to at the end of the issue still will make your jaw drop. Fantastic book, well worth checking out. A great start to the series. Let's get a quick look at the cover, the art in it inside that Cassaday does such a great job on. It really reminded me of his run on Astonishing X-Men. Really great stuff here. But there was a lot of emotional scenes. I love this scene as well. I always wonder with scenes like this where stuff blows up, is that more down to the artist or is that down to the colorist? I always wonder, the inker, you know. I wonder who is responsible for that. But for the first issue, it was great, and I give it a thumbs up. My pick of the week, well worth checking out. And next up, the other book that I was really anticipating, and it was really a big debate over which one of this book or Uncanny Avengers for pick of the week. That is, of course, Batman issue 13. I love this cover. You have like the whole Joker face, but then you can put it away, and you've got Batman underneath. Really good. On the back you've got this card, and it sort of shows you where all the books are going to come out that are going to feature this new storyline, Death of the Family. Death of the Family, of course, is the play on the story they did in the 80s called Death in the Family, where the second Robin was killed by the Joker. So but this time he's not coming after one of the families, coming back all the family. Joker is more deranged than ever, and Scott Snyder does a fantastic job. Once again, Greg Capullo makes the book look gorgeous. Fantastic story. Joker's back. He reclaims his face from Gotham let me get my words out. From Gotham Police Department. He reclaims his face. He then sets his plan into motion. And Batman also, all through this issue, seems to be one step behind the Joker. Joker reenacts some of his old crimes, and all the clues lead Batman to Ace Chemicals, where it all began. And we get to see who we believe is Joker, dressed up as the leader of the Red Hood gang. And I was right. I said at issue 0 that the leader of the Red Hood gang was going to be the Joker, and I'm right. It's not often I get these things right, so I'm basking in my glory there. I was really so stoked when I saw, yes, I was right. Like I say, it doesn't happen often. But then we drive to the shocking conclusion. What Joker does at the end, he leaves so many questions, but at the same time, he's just jaw-droppingly awesome. Snyder, Capullo, fantastic team, all the way through the run of this book, for 14 issues, that's counting the 0 issue, 14 issues of just perfection. Every issue has been great fun, and it's one of the most consistent and best books in comics, and you should be buying this. If you're not, there ain't no good reason why you shouldn't. The art inside, I don't know if I've got a good enough light here for you to see it all. There's some really great stuff in here. You know, all the way through, it's just gorgeous. This is just going to be a legendary run. You knew that already, but it's just even more so now. So yeah, definite thumbs up, well worth checking out. If you're not reading this, I don't know why not, because it's a fantastic comic book, and in years to come people will talk about this as a legendary run. Another great comic book this week was Batgirl, issue 13, written by Gal Simone with art by Ed Benes. And the cover is the same. You see, you got the Joker face, and then underneath you've got Barbara Gordon's Batgirl. This book has just been getting better and better as the run's gone on. All the stories that Gal Simone has done all seem to be coming together now, and we're feeling the consequences of them all. Last issue we got to see Batgirl was stabbed by Nightfall. She battles Nightfall here, really not in good shape. Nightfall chooses that moment to give us her life history, and we get all the answers. We knew Nightfall had gone to prison for the death of her family, that she'd befriended James Gordon Jr. in prison, and then she had ended up being released early. We get to find out why. We get to find out who the guy that she keeps torturing is. We get to find out what happened with her family. Did she kill them, or was it somebody else? And if it was somebody else, why did she cover for them? So we get to find out all of that. We get to find out everything, and we get all our answers. And Gal Simone does a brilliant job, because sometimes you get a big reveal like that, and it sort of takes away from the character once you've got all the answers. But when we get the answers, it only adds more depth to Nightfall as this new fantastic villain. I'm not 100% keen on the name, but the actual character I really like. Barbara then gets a second wind and battles her. Then Batwoman and Detective McKenna turn up, and they're able to free the people that have been taken hostage, and they get out of there. And I presume, we don't see it, but I presume Nightfall gets arrested. We then get a bit where Batgirl goes home and she's got patched up. Her flatmate has got this new dog called Alaska, and Batgirl thinks, well, that's odd. We had a dog called Alaska when we were little. And then her mum phones her up, and there's like somebody outside, and the door bursts open, and it's like a reenactment of the Killing Joke, which fits in with Batman issue 13, where you saw Joker reenacting some of his earlier crimes. And then the end of the issue, I don't want to spoil, but it does bring some of the villains back in a new way that Barbara faced in the first issues of this book. I'm loving this book. The art, once again, is superb. Ed Benes does a fantastic job, and the story just is right up there as well. It's one of them books that I don't think gets as much love as it deserves. I think there's some fantastic stuff. going on in this book, but like I say, it's not getting the love it deserves. And I know there's some people who don't like this take on Barbara Gordon, but she's only been Batgirl for 2 years. She had a 3-year break and then she come back. So I think she's where she is right now. This is the Killing Joke bit where they reenact the Killing Joke, but you know, she's only been Batgirl for 2 years. In between, you know, a year, then she had a 3-year break for being paralysed, and then she got back for another year. So I think the character is growing all the time, and I think she'll grow into that Barbara Gordon people know and love. But I'm loving what Gail Simone is doing with her character here. It makes her one of the most interesting female characters in comics, and is a definite worth of a pick up and a definite thumbs up. It's a shame in a way. Any other week this probably would have been a pick of the week, but it was such a strong week. Another really good book was Frankenstein, Agent of S.H.A.D.E, issue 13, written by Matt Kindt, art by Albert Ponticelli. Ponticelli, I just love the art in it. It just really works well for Frankenstein. His creator has returned in this issue. We got to see in the Zero issue their confrontation and how Frankenstein killed him. And now Dr. Frankenstein is back and he's working for the Rot. But Frankenstein has to team up with the vampire Valcoro, and they're gonna, because there's this machine called the Soul Grinder. It's what helped create Frankenstein, and it's been split up into parts. But before we get to that, you know, we've got what's happened to S.H.A.D.E. That a year's gone by and Frankenstein's back, but what's happened to S.H.A.D.E. This is of course a crossover with the events that are running in Animal Man and Swamp Thing. Another really good issue, and I really enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to seeing the next 2 parts. The art, as always, it just really suits the comic. I just really like Ponticelli's art. I think you know, there's a bit where he goes to Metropolis, and it feels very much like Walking Dead, that's seen in Metropolis. But a really good issue, well worth picking up if you want to keep up on all of what's happening in that world. Well worth picking up. Frankenstein, just one of my favourite comic book characters at the moment, and I'm really enjoying this book and give it a thumbs up. Next up we have Avengers, and we're coming to the end, issue 31. Brian Bendis is leaving. This is his farewell story. We have double duty on art. We have Mayhew and Peterson on art, which I'm not keen on too hard, but I didn't really notice it too much in here. We kick off the story as somebody who's on the run. Apparently they're in inner space, as we find out later on, and they've got an Avengers card, and they get somebody to send a signal using the Avengers card. Meanwhile, Wonder Man showed up and he's very repentant over his previous actions. Captain America wants to help him. Red Hulk then gets into a fight with Wonder Man, and Wonder Man puts Hulk down. And then the end of the issue, we get to see Iron Man get the signal, and we get another scene, and the book really ends really abrupt. So it was a bit strange how it ended. It was like it ended mid-scene rather than, oh, here's the end. It was like, well, we should have another page or something. But yeah, it wasn't. Not a whole lot happened. Some good stuff happened. I enjoyed it. I was hoping for more of a bang. I've really enjoyed Bendis' run on Avengers, and I really feel he's done a great job. You look where they were when he took over, and you look how big they are now. But this wasn't the bang I was hoping for. Maybe, you know, things are going to pick up as the story picks up, but not a great start. But I would give it a thumbs up just because I enjoyed it. The art though was really good. Some great stuff. I really liked the scenes with Cap and Wonder Man. I thought they were really nice. And then of course Wonder Man and the Red Hulk. All in all, yeah, I'd give it a thumbs up, but I'm hoping for better next issue. Next up we have Demon Knights, issue 13. Of course, last issue, Etrigan had promised the devil Avalon, but when Arthur sacrificed himself to save the day, the link between Avalon was broken, and you know, so instead Etrigan gave all his comrades and the Demon Knights over to the devil. So now Etrigan's got a plan. He's putting into motion that he thinks there's still a way to get to Avalon so he can give it to the devil. Meanwhile, we get to see the team all split up, as the devil each has a personal hell for each of them, and how each of them deals with their personal hell. I really enjoyed this issue. I've loved Cornell's run on this book. However, one of my complaints reading the issues back was that not always sometimes you're focused just on certain characters and people are just there. There's no point to the whole team being there because he's only focusing on certain characters. This issue, because the team's all split up, every character gets their moment, every character gets their piece, which must be a difficult thing to balance, but it worked well in here with them all being split up. They all got their bit. I'm looking forward to see where this series goes. I was disappointed they had Etrigan turn on the team, but I don't know if, based on the history of the character in the original, if this is consistent with that character or if this is like a new trait for the new for the new 52. But you know, I felt I was disappointed. However, I enjoyed this issue. I'm looking forward to seeing what Etrigan's got planned and what's going to happen, because obviously we know Vandal Savage doesn't stay now. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, I enjoyed this issue and I'll continue to pick it up and I'd give it a thumbs up. Next up was the final issue of Space Punisher. I was really sad to see this one come to an end. Love the cover. Buy this comic or I shoot the planet. You see, I had to pick it up. It's not my fault. But this series has been great. It has been a hoot, and I've really enjoyed it. Last issue, you may recall, Punisher set off the nullifier. What was it called? That's it, the ultimate nullifier that seemingly destroys the universe, but it's a rib by the Watchers. It doesn't really work. So Punisher has to find another way to kill them, and he does. Very violent, but just terrific fun. Just totally fun. The way they've reimagined so many of the Marvel Universe is just genius. The end, to me, very much sets up like they may do a sequel to this as the Space Avengers, which I think could be just as big a hoot. Certainly the glimpses we've got them, cause that's the we got to see a lot of other characters, but we never really got to see them. So yeah, I think there's room for that. And you know, the Watchers at the end of this do warn Frank that his actions will have consequences, but Frank just wants punishment. So yeah, I enjoyed this book. The art, as always, was gorgeous. You see there. I don't really want to show too much because I don't want to spoil. But as always, the art was great. Well worth checking out, whether you're waiting for the trade or you're going to try and track down all 4 issues. It was just great fun, and I really enjoyed this book, and give it a thumbs up. Next up we have Before Watchmen, issue 2 of 4 with Dr. Manhattan. Written by John Krasinski, art by Adam Hughes. As always, the art was superb in this one. The story, these sciencey kind of stories, I remember Krasinski's run on Fantastic Four. I really enjoyed Harry Reid Richards and some of the things he come up with in that book, and it's the same here. The way he writes the story, there's a lot of like science, and I went away, I'm sure I went up a level in IQ reading this book. I really enjoyed it though. It's a book that I felt that you have to concentrate. It's not one of them you can just read while doing something else, you know. You know, I'll do this, then I'm going to sit and read a little bit, then I'm going to read that, then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to read a little bit more. You know, it's not one of them type of books. I think it's a book you have to sit and concentrate on, but it's well worth it if you do, and so I give this one a definite thumbs up. As for the story, sort of Dr. Manhattan watches the life he could have had, and we don't know why this has happened or why. There is a whole discussion about Schrodinger's cat, and how it's alive and dead in the box, and they explain that element of quantum physics to you, and I'm not sure if that's going to play a part in what's happening here. But yeah, it was a really good book. Seeing how somebody's life might have played out is always an interesting hook. Like I said, the art is gorgeous. There are some really nice pages in here. Adam Hughes is just a very, very talented individual. But yeah, another good book well worth checking out. Finally, we have Stormwatch issue 13. This was a one-off issue that I picked up. Etrigan the Demon comes into the modern day, New 52. Of course, Demon Knights is set in like medieval times or something. So, you know, this brings him up to modern day. I hate the cover. I really detest the cover. I just don't think that picture of Etrigan is good at all. And Midnighter looks like he's going to drop down in front of Etrigan, not going for Etrigan. So yeah, I hated the cover. But the book inside was quite good. I like the team of Apollo and Midnighter. They make a good team. And at the end, when Etrigan turns up, that Etrigan was really drawn well as well. Who's on art? Will Conran is on art here, and it's written by Peter Milligan. Milligan did a good job with the script. Apollo and Midnighter were on a bit of R&R away from Stormwatch, and but Midnighter has an ulterior motive. He wants to check out this block of flats in London, that there's all these strange things happening and coming from there. And of course Etrigan is buried under there, and he's trying to free, so he's influencing people there. Eventually they chant his name and he is freed, and you know, just as Apollo and Midnighter turn up. It was fun. I enjoyed this. It was fun. I hadn't picked this book up in a while, but you know, there was characters in here that I really enjoyed reading, and I'm kind of like in two minds at the moment whether I'll continue to pick it up. But you know, if the book story continues to develop like this, I think I will. But here's the return of Etrigan. But yeah, I liked this, and I think I'm definitely going to pick up the story while Etrigan's in it. Whether I continue after then would depend on how this story goes, but certainly based on this issue, they've got my interest up, and I'd give it a thumbs up. So that's my reviews for this week. I was going to do a preview of Marvel Now and some of their books, but I may do that on a separate video because I haven't got enough time here. So look for that over the weekend, maybe, if I do decide to do that. As always, thanks for watching. It was a great week this week for books. Two books that I was really looking forward to, and they both delivered. If you agree or disagree with me, please, the comments box below, let me know. If you like this video, up above me should be the subscribe button. Hit that, and on your feed it will always pop up when I've recorded a new video. Also, down below there's thumbs up, thumbs down, let me know, or comments. Let me know either way what you think of these videos, and if you've got any suggestions how I can make them better out, or you know, if you like what I'm doing. Anywho, thanks once again for watching. Enjoy your weekend, and bye for now.